Hiya. 5 times I tried to record this, and I ranted about my pipes in my kitchen. I'm going to try and do this within a minute and a half. If anybody want to know, is my pipes fixed? No. They literally had to clean a really nasty clog of hair. That happens in old buildings before the 1930s. But then the pipes literally disintegrated. Guys, the pipes literally fell apart in the guy's hands. That's how old they were. Spent over 3 hours trying to rip out old pipes that was cast iron. And then taking care of the clog, which was hair. It was a bad clog, there's no lie, but it was old pipes. That's from the 1930s, before 1930. This building was built in 1920s or even before that. I can't remember when. And guess what? Even after all that, and I only found this out after I cleaned my kitchen and then made my, well, I usually do food in batches, like 3 or 4 days ahead of time, if I can. I noticed if you put a little too much water in, not like a flood, like you fill up your basin just enough to really do some really good cleaning, she starts dripping. She starts freaking dripping. Now, I gotta wait until Monday because it's Thursday coming up, and if you call them up, because it took Monday when I called, Wednesday is being done. They don't usually come always on a Saturday. So I got to call on a Monday again to tell them, hey, I just noticed it's leaking again. Under 2 minutes. Good. Here is my thoughts on this Dynamite. If you've seen my title of my video with Mercedes Martinez in the picture, this was a joke. This was a joke. This show was a damn joke. The ending was a joke. If anybody said this was a great ending, this was a freaking joke. Open. Fish versus Hardy for qualifying for the Owen Hart. Good. But I did notice that Jeff kind of looked tanked easier. And then when the Bucks came in after Fish lost, Jeff got a bigger beer belly than normal. I mean, not saying he's drinking. Not saying he's drinking. But he doesn't look like he's in good shape. He looks like he needs to start working on himself because a third of the way into the match, he looked tanked. Not saying he's messing around with drugs or drinking again. Just, he looks like he needs to get in better shape. I'm just saying. When you look at the, what are we doing with the BPCC? The Blackpool Combat Club. Where is the triple titles? I'm sorry, it's time. I'm going to keep saying it. People keep saying it for almost 2 years now. We need a trios title. We need a trios title. Now, if they don't bring it in by Double or Nothing, honestly, got a problem. Major problem. You can't keep doing this to the Blackpool Combat Club and not give them something, particularly after that really good vid pack that came from William Regal. I mean, it was lovely. For me personally, I liked how he broke it down, how he taught, and how he makes it mean something. For me personally, that's what it was. Now, let's talk about a few things that were vid-packed or recorded in the back. Was just Samoa Joe's vid-pack good? Yeah. I mean, well, his talk, it wasn't bad. The baddies. I gotta say this because someone said, you're not giving it a chance. Why don't you? Look, listen to me. Listen, as a honest reviewer, I told you both sides of the story when it came to Jade Cargill, when it came to Red Velvet, and when it came to Kiera Hogan. Putting them all together, and you're having Jade as the one who's the leader of it. She's been in the business a little more than a year. I am not telling you she couldn't pull it off. I'm just saying that we need to be cautious and watch and see. I'm not going to be like everybody else and just say this is the best thing that's ever happened because we got 3 black women in a damn faction. I'm sorry. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm part black myself. But I don't use my blackness as something to care about everything. I care about people for what they do, not because of their damn skin, boy. So when you look at Jade, I'm going by what she's done so far. Is she charismatic? Hell yes, she is. Is she still learning the work in the ring? Yes, she is. And working with Kiera Hogan, who's probably, from what I can tell, the oldest one in wrestling between the three, because Red Velvet could be near the same amount as Kiera Hogan, but I think Kiera is longer in the business than her. Honestly. So you got three women, one who's barely been on TV, that's Kiera Hogan, one who has been on TV a lot, Red Velvet, and had to fill in for Brandy Rose, which gave a little bit of problem due to the fact that a lot of people didn't like Brandy. She is now, both of them, working with Jade Cargill, who easily has been given a title that many people leave, that they're worried that either she's still not ready for it, or she should just drop it to somebody else because she's not ready, or many people think she is perfect as she is. She's doing incredibly well. For me, Jade's been doing very well. Does this mean she's perfect? Hell no. She's had some stinkers of matches. Let's be honest about it. And now she's basically the head of a faction. This is going to be a trial for her. This is going to be a trial for Kiera Hogan. This is going to be a trial for Red Velvet to see how each one of them can gain something from this faction. Because if you think this is just supposed to help Jade, then it's going to fail. Because you can't just stick Jade with two other people thinking it's going to be over because they're all three black women, they're all three beautiful women, and all of them, to a certain extent, have been seen. It's got to be something that's going to benefit them all. If it's only about Jade, this is bullshit. You got to get Kiera and Red Velvet over too. If it's only Jade, it's bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. Moving on. Now, let's look at Wardlow and Morrissey. Was it good to see Morrissey? Yes, it was interesting to see him there. And he got screwed by the fans who were screaming for Enzo. And he got offended. He's doing the dance like Enzo just to fuck with them. Now, I did hear, and this is something I also got to say, the sound was quite low for the commentators. Now, I'm not telling you it wasn't loud in that arena. Oh my gosh, in Baltimore, it was loud. But they know how to compensate for that. Yes, the fans can be loud, the music can be loud, but they can bring up their mics a little bit. A little bit. Or better yet, bring down the music for the Titantron a little lower, because they didn't check out the sound quality because the commentators were low. But I did hear them talk about Morrissey being from Impact Wrestling just like Deonna Purrazzo. So I'm not saying Morrissey is still working with Impact, at least tapings, because we know a lot of wrestlers do tapings. So the question is going to be, is he still taping for Impact? Not that he might be signed to Impact. I wasn't surprised that this was going to be physical. They had to make this physical for Morrissey and Wardlow. It had to be physical. If it was not physical, it would not look good. And it got Wardlow over. Does it help Morrissey? No. This was a one-off, I believe, unless he's going to be brought in more. Counting if he is still taping with Impact or not. Who knows? He could be signing, he might not be signed, or he may be taping. Who knows? But the talk afterward with MJF made it very clear. Wardlow, after wiping out everybody, made it very clear he wants MJF's head on a platter. But give it to you like this. He either wants to fight or he wants to be free from his contract. And MJF said, you want it, you got it. We'll do a contract signing next week, but there's several stipulations in it. You're going to hear what they are when you sign the damn contract. So the question is going to be, how good is this going to be for Double or Nothing? This got to be good. It's got to be something a little extra than what he did when he went up against Punk and when he went up against Chris. It's got to be something a little bit more extra. Now, Rey Fenix versus Dante Martin. What happened to Dante's brother? What's going on? And the way Dante was acting, he looked kind of like he was being a little heelish, but he probably wasn't. So that was a bit of a question. It was for what it was. Dude, I'm not a big high-flying fan. I'm not. But you got two very good high flyers. You do. Dante's good. Admittedly, he telegraphs a lot of his choreography. I'm sorry. He's still young in the business, so when you watch most of what was going on, He literally was trying to prepare himself ahead of time. Now, that's not good. You want to make it look really fluid. And when it came to Dante, he didn't do that. When he does his kind of like a special flip, usually he can do it without preparing himself. But here he was standing there preparing himself. And you think, why would Ray Phoenix walk into him doing a reverse backflip? Kind of like a corkscrew backflip. I believe that's what it is. Why? Why would he do it? That's due to the fact that Dante was preparing himself a little too much, doing the choreographs a little more, and that does show that it's a little less inexperienced than it is with Ray Phoenix. Ray is more fluid with any of his aerials. That is Dante. Dante did not win here. I did not expect him to win. And you saw Ray right afterward. He took off the band from his arm because I think that was the one where he got his arm dislocated. And he ran over to Dante and he hugged the hell out of him. He probably was really proud of how well he worked. Because I've heard that Ray Phoenix is very compassionate when it comes to other wrestlers who are working hard in the business. So he gave him a big ass hug, which I did approve of. I think I'm botching because I'm just not a big high flying wrestling fan. I mean, I like it. It's not bad. But when you make it almost all about high flying, it just takes away from everything else. Trying to make it mean something. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like my forte. Now, Santana against Chris with Ortiz and the JAS at ringside, both of them. I don't know how to feel about this. It's still over the JAS. I'm getting it botched. Sorry, I got allergies. It's still over. Great, no problem. But then you really need an extra person for Santana Ortiz to work with when it comes to just Eddie Kingston. And I'm kind of worried about Eddie. Yes, he's out now to go with storyline where he gets burnt in his eye and his forehead. Great, that really works. But I don't want this to stop Eddie from reaching one important place, and that is the TNT title. He needs to go for the TNT title. He has enough charisma, enough power to actually go for it. Do I believe he's going to get it? I don't know. But I do believe that would be best for him. Now, let's see. The Varsity Blonde segment with the House of Black. Sorry, guys. If anybody's liking this when it comes to Julia Hart, she should have turned there. Or better yet, they should have done video packages of her running into the House of Black. Why was this here? Now, mind you, if they're doing it on Elevation Dark, that's one thing which does not help. Because they should be doing it on Dynamite or Rampage only. Not, and I repeat again, not on Elevation and Black. Because no one's going, not Black, Dark. They're not going to see it. You need to have it on the main shows to make sense. Because them walking up to her like that, where's the setup to that? Where's the setup that she's going to just go for just because her face is now partially blackened out? It just doesn't feel like it's been completely cooked. That's just me. Finally, and I know I could say something with the Acclaimed and the Gun Club. I'm not going to. That's all you need to know. Here's the finale. Here it is. Deonna Purrazzo. Well, actually, the second. When it comes to Thunder Rosa and Selena Deeps, they're setting up for their match at Double or Nothing. Fine. It felt a little long-winded, but it could have been done early in the show. I think it could have been done earlier in the show. You could have dropped the vid pack for Hangman Page. You could have done it for next week. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't done well, Hangman Page. Him now turning into a heel, so we can still have a CM Punk face is fine. But maybe you should have put that there. I think that could have been done there. But here's the thing that's bullshit. Deonna Purrazzo versus Mercedes Martinez for the unification match. Unifying the Women's RH Championship with the Women's RH Championship. 9:50. That's when it generally started. Around 9:50. And then around 9:53 or 9:54, we got about 3 to 4 minutes of commercials. Unless you watch it on the app, that's something entirely different. But if you did not, that was 3 to 4 minutes, at least nearly 4 minutes of commercials. And then they ended it at 10:01 p.m. Mercedes Martinez is a joke. You know why? This was supposed to mean something for ROH, the developmental. This doesn't mean a damn thing for ROH because it doesn't feel like it means anything for ROH. If you're trying to set this up as a developmental and make it mean something, why didn't you leave this for the pay-per-view? Why didn't they do it on the fucking show? Why did they do it on the show? What was the point of doing this on the show when you only gave it how much time? From 9:50, that was maybe somewhere between the announcements of both champions to actually starting the damn match. Roughly 9:50, 9:49, 9:53. That's how much it took for them to walk out, to get into the ring, to hand over those titles, and then start wrestling. And then you got another 3 minutes to 4 minutes of commercials. And then what? That is 57. You add an extra 4 minutes. 8 minutes counting the introductions. 8. Say it again. Say maybe 8 minutes. And then Mercedes wins. You couldn't even do a payout at a pay-per-view. You couldn't book this to make it mean something like Deonna Purrazzo doing a cameo or two. Making this mean something. You can't tell me they couldn't do something if she is still signed with Impact, which I believe she is. Why couldn't you have her just do a cameo or two? Do a cameo over video package. You're telling me Impact Wrestling wouldn't allow Deonna Purrazzo to do a video pack or video package for the next couple of weeks, setting it up for her to drop the ROH Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. That's 3 weeks away. One video package a week. And maybe one cameo on a Rampage or Dynamite. She comes in, and then you got Mercedes and her talking to each other. You don't have to have her wrestle. You just got to have her show up. If she's able to, and this is Deonna Purrazzo, go to Triple Mania. And I've actually been thinking about maybe taking a look at Triple Mania. The only problem is when they do the, because I did check a little bit of 5 minutes of Triple Mania, the first 5 minutes, when they were about to have the match with not Lucha Liger, Ultimo Dragon, and Pentagon Jr. I didn't watch it because this was yesterday and I was too frustrated to watch because of what was going on with my sync. But I was thinking, hey, maybe I should check out Triple Mania. I know sometimes they do English commentary. So I did look, and they did talk about explaining to people, but it's in Spanish. And not until they reach the ring do the English commentators take over. So I was considering maybe looking at a couple of matches. At least looking at Ultimo Dragon and Pentagon Jr., at least that match. I was thinking about it. But you let her show up on Triple Mania, Impact Wrestling. And she just went, if she's still signed to Impact, over to AEW. Maybe AEW said, we don't need none of this. If AEW did, they're freaking stupid. If Impact did, they're freaking stupid. You let a woman of Deonna Purrazzo's caliber come on to the very end of a show to drop a damn title within 8 minutes, with most of it with commercials, when you could have set this up at the pay-per-view. You can't tell me they don't have room for it. You can't tell me they couldn't make room for it. They could have made room for it. This is bullshit. I don't care what anyone says. You can point them to my video, and they can say whatever the hell they want to say. What is wrong with you? It was a great match, really. Almost 4 minutes of that match was in picture-in-picture, and you couldn't leave that for a pay-per-view? Something that really meant something important to AEW, because you want to make Mercedes Martinez look as dominant and as important as possible? You couldn't leave it for the pay-per-view? Bullshit. I'm sorry. I don't agree with it. It's not about the match quality, because the match quality, when you could watch it in picture and regular, was good. I'm not against the match. I'm just against the booking of it being at the very end of the show, where there was commercials in the middle, where you could have used a real good payout at a pay-per-view, where you could have done at least 1 or 2 cameos for Deonna Purrazzo, video packages that you could easily show in your show of either Rampage or Dynamite of Deonna Purrazzo talking about Mercedes Martinez over a 3-week period, maybe one video a week for 1 minute or 30 seconds for that matter. I'm done. This is a review. No intro, no pictures, just uploading. I hope you like it. Peace.